Welcome to our Bible quiz on the Book of Esther. This quiz is designed to challenge your knowledge and deepen your understanding of one of the most inspiring stories in the Old Testament. Esther's tale is one of courage, faith, and divine providence, as she rises from obscurity to become a queen who saves her people from destruction. So, grab your Bible, get comfortable, and let's dive into the world of Esther. How well do you know this remarkable woman of faith? Let's find out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this quiz with your friends and family. Let's get started. Question 1. In which city did Esther become queen? Jerusalem, Babylon, Shushan. The answer is Shushan. Esther, chapter 2, verse 5. Now in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. Question 2. What was Esther's original name? Hadassah, Sarah, Rachel. The answer is Hadassah. Esther, chapter 2, verse 7. And he brought up Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful. Question 3. Who raised Esther after her parents died? Her uncle Mordecai, her cousin Abihail, her aunt Zeresh. The answer is her uncle Mordecai. Esther, chapter 2, verse 7. And he brought up Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. Question 4. What was the name of the king who ruled over Persia during Esther's time? Darius, Nebuchadnezzar, Ahasuerus. The answer is Ahasuerus. Esther, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces. Question 5. Who was the king's eunuch in charge of the beautiful young virgins from all provinces of the kingdom? Harbona, Haggai, Hama. The answer is Haggai. Esther, chapter 2, verse 3. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather all the beautiful young virgins to Shushan the citadel, into the women's quarters, under the custody of Haggai the king's eunuch, custodian of the women. And let beauty preparations be given them. Question 6. How many times was the word God mentioned in the Book of Esther? 5, 0, 7. The answer is 0. Book of Esther. God is never mentioned in the Book of Esther, but he is very much present through the book. Question 7. Dash and Dash planned to assassinate King Ahasuerus, Bigthan and Teresh, Memucan and Vashti, Haggai and Kish. The answer is Bigthan and Teresh. Esther, chapter 2, verse 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth, and sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. Question 8. How did Mordecai react when Haman demanded that everyone bow down to him? He refused to bow and stood up before Haman. He bowed down reluctantly. He pretended to be sick. The answer is, he refused to bow and stood up before Haman. Esther, chapter 3, verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Question 9. What was Haman's plan for Mordecai and the Jewish people? Extermination, imprisonment, restoration. The answer is extermination. Esther, chapter 3, verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. Question 10. Who was the man that delivered Mordecai's message to Esther Jonah? Nathaniel, Hattach. The answer is Hattach. Esther, chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. And Hattach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again Esther spake unto Hattach, and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. Question 11. What was the penalty for approaching King Ahasuerus without being summoned? Death, exile, imprisonment. The answer is death. Esther, chapter 4, verses 11. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or women, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days. Question 12. How many days did Esther ask for people to fast to prepare herself before appearing before the king? 3, 7, 10. The answer is 3. Esther, chapter 4, verses 16. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. Question 13. What did Esther request from the king during the banquet she prepared for him and Haman? Preservation of the Jews' lives from annihilation, a promotion for Mordecai, a gift of gold and silver. The answer is preservation of the Jews' lives from annihilation. Esther, chapter 7, verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, "If I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request." Question 14. Who suggested to the king that Haman should be hung on the gallows he had prepared for Mordecai? Haggai, Harbona, Teresh. The answer is Harbona. Esther, chapter 7, verse 9. And Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, "Behold also, the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman." Then the king said, "Hang him thereon." Question 15. What did the king discover when he couldn't sleep one night and had the book of records read to him? Mordecai's earlier deed of saving his life, Haman's treacherous plot, Esther's secret Jewish identity. The answer is Mordecai's earlier deed of saving his life. Esther, chapter 6, verse 2. And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. Question 16. King Ahasuerus pointed dash to Queen Esther while standing in the court to show that she had won his favor. Rod, golden ring, golden scepter. The answer is golden scepter. Esther, chapter 5, verse 2. And it was so, when the king saw Esther the queen standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Question 17. Who did the king ultimately decide to honor at Haman's suggestion? Mordecai, Esther, Haman. The answer is Mordecai. Esther, chapter 6, verse 10. Then the king said to Haman, "Make haste, and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew, that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken." Question 18. How did Haman's wife and friends advise him to deal with Mordecai and his predicament? They advised him to ignore Mordecai. They advised him to have Mordecai killed. They advised him to seek forgiveness. The answer is, they advised him to have Mordecai killed. Esther, chapter 5, verse 14. Then said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, Let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king, that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. Question 19. What was the suggestion of the king's servants after Queen Vashti was dethroned? Restore Vashti. A banquet for Queen Vashti. A search for new queen. The answer is A search for new queen. Esther. Chapter 2, verse 2. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, Let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. Question 20. How did the king react when he learned of Haman's plot to destroy the Jewish people, including Esther? He was outraged and ordered Haman's execution. He was indifferent. He sided with Haman. The answer is, he was outraged and ordered Haman's execution. Esther, chapter 7, verse 7. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. Question 21. What punishment did the king decree for Haman? Imprisonment, exile, hanging on his own gallows. The answer is hanging on his own gallows. Esther, chapter 7, verse 10. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. Question 22. Who did the king appoint to replace Haman? Mordecai, Esther, Zeresh. The answer is Mordecai. Esther, chapter 8, verse 2. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. Question 23. What did Esther request from the king regarding the decree to destroy the Jews? That the decree be revoked, that the decree be extended, that the decree be enforced. The answer is that the decree be revoked. Esther, chapter 8, verse 5. And said, If it please the king, and if I have favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces. Question 24. How did the Jewish people respond to the new decree issued by King Ahasuerus at Esther's request? They protested and rebelled. They mourned and fasted. They celebrated and rejoiced. The answer is, they celebrated and rejoiced. Esther, chapter 8, verse 17. And in every province, and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. Question 25. How many sons did Haman have? 10, 7, 5. The answer is 10. Esther, chapter 9, verse 10. The 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they, but on the spoil laid they not their hand. Question 26. Who said, "If I perish, I perish"? Vashti, Zerah, Esther. The answer is Esther. Esther, chapter 4, verse 16. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise. And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law, and if I perish, I perish. Question 27. What did Esther keep secret even after she became a queen? Intelligence, identity, beauty. The answer is identity. Esther, chapter 2, verse 10. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. Question 28. What was the name of Esther's father? Jerubbaal, Abihail, Mordecai. The answer is Abihail. Esther, chapter 9, verse 29. Then Esther the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. Question 29. Mordecai was accepted of the multitude of his brethren because of Dash. He relocated to the palace. He loved greeting his people. He sought the wealth of his people. The answer is, he sought the wealth of his people. Esther, chapter 10, verse 3. For Mordecai, the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace to all his seed. Question 30. Who was the father of Haman? Aridatha, Hamadatha, Shushan. The answer is Hamadatha. Esther, chapter 9, verse 10. The 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they, but on the spoil laid they not their hand. Thanks for watching. Share your score in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. See you in the next video.